So today's project is to make a knife rack for the kitchen, and I want to make it out of oak so it's going to look the same as the rest of the kitchen units. However, I'm going to use the magnetic strip type of rack, and there's quite a few of these available, and this one here is like a standard kind of catering one, and this was the first one I bought. However, it's plastic in construction and it's got these two strip magnets. Reasons why I don't want to use this one is, for a start, you have to have fixings through the front, which is okay, but it means you will see the screw heads. It's also got these raised ridges on it. It's not going to be as easy to do as the second type I found. This one I found at IKEA, and all it is a stainless steel strip, and it's got the magnets bonded to the back of it. And the nice thing about this one is, as well as being just a smooth form, it holds itself onto the wall by the magnet as well. So it's got a strip, a steel strip which attaches to the wall, and then you simply slot that onto it and the magnet holds it on. All your knives can simply stay on there. Another thing you can use these for is in the workshop. They're a great way of just keeping tools, screwdrivers. I know that's where I use this one. With things like the files, you can just have them up on the wall, and rather than having to make a purpose-built slots or racking system for your tools, anything that's going to be metal and magnetic, you can just pop it up. Nice easy way to keep things tidy. So as I said, I really want this to have a wooden finish to it. And obviously wood is not magnetic, however I'm hoping with the use of some veneers I should be able to have something that slots into how the kitchen style is, and something that just blend in a bit more. So there's loads of different veneers you could use here. When I came to make these rings, I'll just show you one here. When I made these rings I used a walnut veneer, the walnut burr, and that's a beautiful veneer to use, and will also make a stunning knife rack as well. The other option, I've got some white beech here and some other American black walnut. So any wood really, as long as you've got that really thin veneer which isn't going to affect the strength of the magnet. Just holding a piece of veneer over the magnet, you can still see that the knife is really firmly on there, and that tiny depth of that veneer is really not going to affect anything. So I'd like it to have the same sort of oak colour that all these lovely pippy oak cupboards have. So I've managed to find some oak veneer strip. I ordered this on eBay, and it's just 2" by I think it's about 6 foot of veneer. So as you can see, I've got this white oak, and obviously that's going to be a lot lighter than what we've already got here. But I've got a nice honey coloured wax oil finish that we can use on this, and from experience of making some trims to fit in the kitchen beforehand, that should bring this up to the same colour as the cupboard doors. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a strip which is going to go around the edges. Now it's about probably about 10mm deep, the bracket itself, and what I want to do is create a band to go around the outside of it first, and then once we've done that, we'll then be able to measure out the top piece and bond that onto it. Draw that line on there, and then we'll continue that all the way so we can cut one long strip, and that should give us a nicer corner. So I'm pretty much experimenting as I go here. I haven't done this before, and I've never veneered onto to steel. Obviously when you're doing it onto wooden trim, or you're maybe veneering the edge of some chipboard or MDF, it's a lot more simple, especially if you're using this iron-on type adhesive tape that's on the back, then it's fairly easy to do. We may have to use some slightly different techniques to bond it to this metal. So now I've got our veneer cut, and that is what's going to go around the edge. I want to see the edge first because that should then give us one solid piece on the front, and we won't be able to see that join. Right, so as I said, I want this to be a continuous ribbon of veneer all the way around the outside edges of this, this block. So what I plan to do is to mark with a pencil where the corners are going to end up. So if I start here, I want the join to be on one of the long edges. So I'll start the corner and then I'll put a little mark just roughly, because if I tried to bend these now it would probably snap. Although it's quite flexible, I wouldn't want to trust taking it at a right angle without it kind of splitting the wood. So now I've marked on where the corner is going to end up. I'm going to take it over to the kettle, and hopefully just by holding it over the kind of steam just for maybe 20-30 seconds, we'll get it soft enough that we can just take it around that corner, and then we can, when we bond it on, we can get that nice smooth edge all the way around and give us a nice finish. I'm just going to see if I can hold it over the spout as it boils. See if we can't bend the form. Yeah, it's a lot more flexible already actually. So I don't really want to get it too exact at the moment. I just want to bend it right round. So we're just going to do one more join. So you've got to work pretty fast. It seems to dry very, very quickly. So just try and take it just without letting it split. Just literally holding it there for about 20 seconds or so until it seems to have dried and cooled, and then it will hold that shape. So I've now put in those bends and these look really smooth, so that should allow us to do it. So I've no idea if this is going to work or not, but I'm going to try and use the iron-on adhesive first, and if that doesn't work then we'll look at the other options. But as this veneer, I chose the option to have the iron-on tape on the back. We may as well give it a go and see if the iron will do it. First thing I'm going to try and do is just secure one end, and I'm just going to use a tiny bit of super glue, some CA glue on that. And I'm hoping that one dot on that steel should hold it in place. Just tacked it there with some super glue, and now we're just going to try and use that iron and iron it on as we go round. It seems to be holding quite well, that. It's not particularly easy with the iron, but hopefully on the longer side it'll be a bit easier. It's working really well actually with that steam, just to soften the corners. See if I can get a close up here. I can use it as a straight edge and cut along that, and because it's flat we can probably cut it to size now. So that's how our strip is going to look once it's on, and it's getting that join between the two veneers on the corner, which is going to be tricky, and that will hopefully, with the iron, we can kind of curve it a little bit, and with the heat of that should help. And once it's finished as well, I think that should help blend things in. Okay, I've now checked this to size. I've basically left about 1 mil of veneer overlapping the edge, and that's something we can then rub back with sandpaper. Now, is the magnet going to ruin the iron? I have no idea. Soon find out. Well, I think we're committed now. Might have to buy a new iron tomorrow. Certainly getting a good flat surface as the iron almost clamps it down. So it's kind of going to plan as I'd hoped. It's beginning to look like a piece of oak now. Obviously we've got the corners to tidy up where the two veneers join, and we've got to finish it as well. But as far as the actual sticking power of that iron adhesive seems to be holding it okay. I think if there's any edges that come up, I use the CA, the kind of super glue, to then stick down those little bits, just in case. I was just thinking whilst doing this, it's just such a refreshing change to be doing something without power tools, without any noise, dust. So I've got myself a little square of sandpaper. I just want to take that corners, it's not going to take much at all. So its back edge is going to be against the wall anyway, but I just want to make sure it's definitely flush down to the metal. Alright, so I'm pretty much there now with the wrapping and the kind of veneer side of things. Just want to really make sure that we've got all the veneer taken back to the side. And the easiest way, just running a finger or thumb over it, you can really feel any high spots. And if you didn't look at the bottom now, I'm pretty sure if you shut your eyes, you'd think that was a nice piece of oak, or piece of wood. There is no way you could tell that was metal. So it really does have the appearance now of a piece of solid oak. And now we can get the finish on here, and hopefully it'll give the overall impression that all we've got is just a strip of wood on the wall. And then the magic behind it will be the fact that it's magnetic, nice strong magnet there. So now on to finishing the wood, and I'm going to go with the Osmo Poly-X oils, which I tend to use for most things, and we're using them for the doors at the moment, for the pine doors. And I've also used them on the floors in the past. So we've gone for this one, and I've got that slightly tinted colour, which is the honey colour, and that from experience will bring this normal white oak up to the same shade as what our kitchen cupboard doors are. I'm not going to bother getting a brush out or a foam brush or foam roller. I think just a kitchen towel should be fine for this size. And it's a completely natural product as well. When we first bought some, I mean it's expensive, but it's surprising. We bought one of these, that's done 4 rooms of floors and a few doors as well. But it's made of like vegetable oils, I think beeswax and all sorts of kind of natural stuff. So it's great for, I've used it on some children's toys that I built as well, some made over Christmas. So it's a really nice, easy finish to use. Alright, so I've just done a little sample on one of the offcuts and checked by the door, by one of the other doors, and it's perfect colour. So we'll get on and put the finish on here now. Using just a little bit of kitchen towel rather than getting a brush out. Give it a coat and we'll let it dry overnight. Right, so I've let it dry overnight, and I've also put a clear coat on first thing this morning, and we're now pretty much there, and it looks like it's ready to go up on the wall. But before I put it up, I'm also just going to finish it with a little coat of beeswax, which I like to do just because it gives it a nice soft sheen, and also just gives it a slightly smoother finish again. Alright, so just get this beeswax out. It's like a beeswax blend, just a normal for furniture, and it's a clear one as well, so it shouldn't affect the colour. So I'll just get a cloth now, give it a wipe, and normally I do it with a really fine wire wool, steel wool, if I'm putting it on a piece of furniture. However, because this is so thin and we've already finished it, I'm just going to give it a really quick wipe over with a paper towel. Right, I'll leave that to dry off just for a few minutes, and then we'll buff that to a nice finish. But whilst we're waiting for that, I can get on and get the fixings up on that unit. But now I'm going to attach it to the side of this unit, which is still quite a nice place to have it, and we're right by the island here. So just for comparison, you can see the colour match worked really well. So that oak veneer is now going to blend in really nicely. So we'll attach it onto the side of here using the fixings, and I'll show you how we do that now. So this is where I've decided I'm going to put the knife rack. It's on the side of this unit by the sink. It's also a way that kids can't kind of get up and grab anything. So I'm going to keep it on here, and it comes with this bracket, like I said, and typical bloke, I've chucked away the instructions, but I'm assuming that these little spacer, almost like a really thick washer, they will hold this bracket off the wall. General idea is that the screw goes through, the head sits in this kind of valley, and then that spacer blocks on the back, and that'll hold it in. So we'll get these fixed on first, some short screws. That's nice and solid. So the idea is now that it will clip and hold itself on with the magnet. Right, that beeswax has dried off a bit now, so we can just buff it up a bit. Just seems to bring the colour alive a little bit more as well. So the lighting wasn't that great last night, but how now we've got daylight, you should be able to see the finished look. And following that veneer around on the corners is definitely the best option. Gave it a much more natural look rather than having a cut join on those corners. Okay, so I'll pop it on. And hopefully we can get some knives up on there. Gonna use this nice and strong magnet still. I don't think having that really thin veneer on there has affected the strength of the magnet at all. So it's all gone to plan. So there we go, project complete. It's a nice fun one to do. Only literally a couple of hours in it, no power tools. Did it on the kitchen worktop here, so a nice kind of evening project. So I hope you like that project, something a bit different, and remember to subscribe if you haven't done already to keep up to date with our videos, and also check out the blog. On there we put a lot more photos of the renovation and other bits and bobs we're doing, so check out that, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.